And we're back. The boys are back with Operation Memory Era 404.
404?
40.
Oh, wow.
You know, Era 404.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it says like web page not found.
Yeah, it's missing.
Yeah.
And so you guys can kind of speculate on where this theme is going to be going, but this is Operation Memory Error 404.
I have those all the time.
Yeah, I know. And, you know, you're a prime participant in where this is going to lead to.
Oh,
because we are going to be talking about, at least I am. I know a colleague has an interesting thing he's going to bring in. I don't want to spill the beans yet, so you can tune in for that. But we're going to be talking about a premeditated use with our current devices and infrastructure on how the government is utilizing it to create. Now, you've heard of deep fakes, as in live deep fakes, video deep fakes. Deep faking your past, your actual past, your memories. They're going to be deep faked. And you're going to say, host, what are you talking about? Once I connect one part, and then I give you the evidence of those parts, you're going to see. But that's where we're going to be heading down, at least in my segment. The premeditated agenda to control your past. Because if they control your past, they're going to control your future. Because your past is going to dictate what you believe you should do in your future, especially if it's personal, if it's your own memories. Mm-hmm. You remember your birthday, you remember your wedding, you remember your big events in life, your celebrations, all these hangouts you had with your friends. What if they're deep faked? And then you go down memory lane.
It's not there.
No, it's there.
It's not right.
You won't be able to tell.
Some weddings are actually probably more memorable than others, I think.
Just come down. You don't want to do this traditional thing.
I've been walking hard. I've made a mess of me. Person that I've been lately.
I need some milk.
Is over. As I was going to say with Sophia, as we said, brokenhearted, come here to. Never mind. We'll do it a different way. Welcome today. We are here to celebrate something that doesn't happen every day. The joining of the two extraordinary people, Drew, aka Big Bird, and Kira Albaugh, Mrs. Albaugh. Their journey together began with a trip to Michigan.
So tell me you wouldn't remember a wedding like that.
Now, what if you don't remember that guy eating the popcorn and the milk there?
You probably won't. After the government's done with you, you're not going to remember a lick.
What if you don't remember that you were AKA Big Bird?
Yeah, you wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. They're going to change not only their past, but they're probably going to give that couple probably won't even have a chance. They're going to change the future of that couple too.
They're going to put that couple in $1 million wedding. But you know what's so sad about that? They would have it. They would have the memories of $1 million wedding, but never had the experience of $1 million wedding.
Well, they wouldn't need it with a wedding like that. That's real love.
Yeah.
It's not about the dresses and the flowers and the people that is showing up. It's not about the gifts. At that point, it's not even about getting out of your mom and dad's trailer.
No,
it's about love.
It's about cleaning the old and bringing in the new. Like this week's sponsor, as always. We have a sponsor this week, and this week's sponsor is Saran Wrap.
Oh.
Now, I know all of you guys, especially myself, We like to put big smears on the back of our toilet bowls. You have to go. And sometimes that smear is just the beginning, and it leads to the heaviest load you have ever seen in your entire life. And you know what? It feels good in the end, but what is always horrible is that you can't flush the toilet. So now you have to deal with that. And we have to pull out that nasty, crusty, disgusting, poo-infested plunger. And that doesn't always work. So Saran Wrap figured this out and said, we have a solution for you. So if you want to get rid of that nasty, poop-crusted toilet plunger, all you have to do is get Saran Clean, which will be your hand press to redemption. This is really efficient. This is made specifically for this.
Oh no. Wow.
Well, it's not perfect, but it's there.
That's brutal.
But that's brought to us by our sponsor, Saran Wrap.
That's not saying very much for Saran Wrap, man. That's.
That might be user error. I mean, let's give it the benefit of the doubt.
Well, then who's responsible for this?
You have free will. You can use it however you want. And that man is using his free will the way he chooses to. It's like J.G. Wentworth. It's your free will. Use it when you need it the most.
I guess, yeah.
Well, one question I had was, did you guys see the Easter eggs in this last week's episode? Or were they a little too cryptic? There was probably about 6 Easter eggs. And then the backmasking, maybe you guys heard. But there's a lot of visuals. There was a CIA document. There was CIA operations tagged out. There was bunny rabbits. There were all kind of things. But you guys tell me in the comments, did you guys see last week's Easter eggs? And I'm going to put them again in this week's episode. And maybe I won't make them as cryptic. But if you do see them, put them in the comments.
I picked at about 13, so I'm obviously seeing some things.
Is it like Jim Carrey where he sees the number 23 everywhere?
Yeah.
Did you see 23?
Except, no. I saw 6, 7.
Oh, okay. That's perfect.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, it takes a trained eye. Like, not everybody can see things that are hidden in plain sight.
That was sick. But I bet you missed the 2 dudes kissing in the background. Watch closely as I do this backflip.
Damn, you want to see that pretty bad, don't you? Don't scroll down. I see you looking.
Oh, no. Get him out of here.
I see you.
Yeah, so I don't know if anybody saw the 2 guys kissing in the background,
but you could replay the video if you really want to see it.
Yeah, watch them replay it, and we're going to have something set up. It's like, yeah, we see you going back again to look a second time.
That's a good segue into what I wanted to talk about our assumptions of what we see and memories. What if I told you that the mental images of your life are being overwritten by corporate software?
I'd believe it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
We are entering this age of algorithmic gaslighting where our nostalgia, this synthetic idea of nostalgia, is being injected directly into your digital archives. And that'll make sense here in a minute. Your identity is being anchored to a proprietary reality. We all know deepfake videos, but what if it's your deep faked memories? Now, when you take pictures, what's the most common device to take pictures?
My eyes.
Wow. And that gets uploaded to the cloud, huh?
Yeah, my memory.
Wow, you already tapped in.
Can I get a witness?
Well, that's fine. Then you're already
isn't that's what CIA actually stands for? Can I get a
Assimilate.
witness. It's CIA witness. I'm under witness protection.
Oh, wow. Well, then, you're already tapped in because they can do whatever they want. But for most of us,
But I have two witnesses, what I'm saying. Like everything that is going on, I have two witnesses. This eye and that eye.
yeah, but this eye may get confused with this eye seeing, and then it's arguing with this ear and that ear, but you only have one mouth.
What about your third eye?
Oh, yeah.
I only have two, unfortunately. I'm not as blessed as some people. But yeah, I don't have a lazy eye either. Both of my eyes are definitely working.
I believe that guy does have a third eye.
That guy's got a lazy eye. But I got two working eyes. And my eyes work hard.
Well, for most of us, the most common means of taking photographs is our camera on our phone. I can't remember the last time I seen somebody have one of those, back in the day, 95 in the early 90s, 2000. You go to Walmart, you buy those $5,
Kodak.
Yeah, and you just, you got to manually, you just take it.
One-time use.
And then you just drop it off the whole camera. You got to do anything. That's what we all did. And we had physical photos. We print them off. But nobody's doing that anymore. I can't remember the last time I've seen anybody doing that. So everybody's using their phone. And so birthdays show up. What's the first thing everybody pulls out their phone? The weddings pull out their phone. Everything, they're pulling out their phone. But these phones, your photographs are connected to all of them. No matter what phone you use. Connected to some photo app. Google, iPhone, it don't matter. Yahweh. It's all connected to these picture apps. Now, these picture apps always ask you what? Would you like to back up this? Or they give you like free cloud space or whatever. And even if you don't, who's saying that they're not backing it up anyways? Because it's trainable material, AI trainable material. So it's all on the cloud. So now, if you can see where I'm going, if all your memories are digital, like some people may have scrapbooks, right? I thought about that too. So you may print them out, but it's all on your phone. What if Google, because most people, when they want to print it out, they have to go on some app, say, I want to print these pictures out. Then you have to click this button, which sends it to Walmart or wherever, CVS, that you want to print them out. That app, as soon as you press that, what if it's allocated to an algorithm that knows that you're about to print these out and they make alterations and that's what you get? And see, this is all on the assumption that they're being alterated, which I'm already jumping into. But that's the assumption. If your memories are all digital, how do you know that what you're going back and looking? Because another stupid thing we always see. You go into your photo app and what's the first thing that pops up? Hey, 1 year ago, do you remember this? And they show you this collage with nice little music and all these little pictures. But who's setting up this collage of pictures?
Yeah, and you see Aunt Sally in there, and she's frowning. And you're like, oh, man, I don't remember that. But, man, that must have been a long time ago.
Right.
I guess she just wasn't that happy. And then you start creating other memories like, yeah, you know what? Maybe she did. It was a bad day because this. And you start creating memories.
And not only that, it doesn't end there. Then you get next week, 5 years ago, do you remember this? And then a couple months later, 2 years ago, you remember this. And it's just, it's forcing you to create a memory because they're the ones setting up the collages.
I'm talking about actually doctoring photos too. They could actually doctor photos.
But that's what I'm saying. Say they want to doctor photos. And this is on everybody. I don't care if you're a government official. I don't care if you're a president, whoever. Everybody's photos in their phone are connected to a photo app. And this photo app, if they want to project a certain narrative, they altered these things slightly. Yeah, like you're saying, a frown, or there was a birthday scene, everybody's smiling, but there's just one person over there. And you're like subliminal messaging. You see all these things, and there's...
It could be a baby bath photo, but it's actually a picture of you and you're an adult.
Yeah, I guess. You're in the shower with this woman that you're having an affair with.
Yeah, I guess that too. Yeah. And you're trying to scrub it, but you can't.
And then now you're like, wow, how did that end up on my camera?
Yeah. Like, have you ever seen your homie laid out with his shirt wet?
No.
Me neither.
But all this stuff is stored on the cloud. So it's either Google, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft. They have access to your photos. And you all know how good photo generation is. I actually was going to pull it up to show you guys how easy it is, but you guys already know. You can create anything, especially with Google Nano Pro. You can create anything. You can create anything. And videos as well. So that's the other thing. So photos is one thing, but you record all your videos on your phone. And where do they go? To the same dumb photo app. And they're all in there. So if they want to alter videos, they want to alter photos, it's all accessible by these corporations.
Was this stuff available in the 90s?
No, they didn't have smartphones until 2008.
Well, you could, because my dad, I remember growing up, my dad would tell my mom that wasn't him in the photo. Somebody doctored that photo.
Right.
With,
so
you're saying this technology was.
Let's go back a little bit. All right. So there was computers. There's always been like Microsoft Paint. There's always been Photoshop. There's always been digital photo editing software since probably, let's say, about 2000, early 2000s.
I knew he was innocent.
Yeah. So
actually,
go ahead.
Actually, I believe that there was you could actually doctor. It's much more difficult, but you could actually doctor an actual photograph. By double exposing it or something. But even before we had digital technology, there were ways of doctoring photographs.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure the people in the media, whoever was dealing with all these, there were professionals dealing with the 35 millimeter camera footages and anything else. I'm sure they all had ways to reverse images and do all kinds of things.
And my dad was in the professional sumo wrestling.
I don't know what this got to do with he's trying to prevent
because he had a lot of enemies, and they wanted to smear his name across the platform.
Okay.
And one of the ways they did that, and I knew he was innocent. I just knew it.
Well, outside of sumos and hiding their indulgences, we know that marketing is always evolving. And the biggest part of a PSYOP is making reality marketable. It's not always what you see. Think about like a hamburger. You see this hamburger, and advertising is just a big PSYOP. You see this hamburger, and it has to portray itself in the most succulent way that you will be persuaded to give it a shot. But when you finally get it, it looks like somebody sat on it. But the PSYOP is the persuasion of marketing. And so your perception is all that really matters. It's what you see, you believe. It doesn't matter what the end product is. It's what are you seeing right now? So when you look at this photograph, it don't matter what you're experiencing in reality. It's, oh, I remember John. I remember him having a gun. But John really never had a gun. John doesn't even exist. But because it's in your photograph, the perception of that marketing is the PSYOP. And you know how beautiful, I hate to use that word, it's just, I guess, the adjective. You know how prolific the government is at trying to utilize trauma events in correlation with PSYOPs. Mm-hmm. So when will your mind be the most susceptible to be deceived about your past memories? During traumatic events.
Yeah,
so let's say another, right? Yeah, like another COVID or another global shutdown, another war, anything to cause a traumatic event. And then they start manipulating photographs, videos. And you may have this nostalgia feels like, I remember back when it was good. And then you go back through your photos and you're like, oh, it really was never that good. And you don't have any You're susceptible. You have no way to segregate yourself from what you are seeing on these photo apps. That's just what you're going to believe. And you're going to say, host, I'm not that stupid. I'm not trying to say your intelligence, but what I'm going to show you with this evidence, that's just human nature. Your memory is not a hard drive. It's not permanent. It gets alterated. You see a crime happening. You see a robbery happening. And then the police comes up to you and say, hey, I saw that, we know that you're here as a witness. Can you tell me what color gun that guy had? It's like, oh yeah, I think it was a black gun. But in reality, what you saw was a guy with a knife. But the persuasion, that sycophancy, that persuasion is being asserted by the police officer. The same thing with a picture. You see it, so you follow the narrative. Where in your mind are you going to start questioning, has this photo been altered? You're not ever going to think that.
Yeah, I mean, who knew that Dave Chappelle actually looked different than he actually did? I never knew that. It's like you said, they're already doing it right now. I didn't think, I always knew Dave Chappelle looked one way, but apparently he doesn't and never has.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Oh, gosh. All right, hold on. Here it comes. The victim also said...
Do you guys remember Dave Chappelle looking like that?
No, sir, I don't.
Yeah, so they're already changing things.
Well, you know, that's the idea of the Mandela effect, isn't it? So I talked about photographs and videos, but think about the next thing. You know, we've already mentioned it a long time ago, but, you know, you got articles, you got history, but something more personal that's even more easy to alter, text messages. You know, I was starting to think about this, like, when you go through your text messages, one of the main things that you transfer over to your new phone is your text message. But there's usually 1,000, maybe 10,000 messages. There's absolutely no way you're going to remember any of that. You actually are saving it and transferring over because you cannot remember any of that. How easy it would be to change this little word here, this little phrase here, this little message here. And that's easy, and you would never know. Or add something there. So text messages is one of the most easiest things AI could do to alter your past memories. And some of those messages go back years and you're saving them. And you go back just for nostalgia's sake or just for reference sake. And you're like, wow, I don't remember them saying that, but it's here. So I guess that's what they said. And there's nothing in your brain that's going to start saying, I think the government has been altering my text messages. I think this has been altered by the government. So it's not that you're stupid. As a human, we don't have the capacity to remember like that. And so the government knows that, and it's easy to play on. This is why this is I don't want to say beautiful. This is a very prolific conspiracy. Because it's so easy. And so now you're going to say the next question. I already know. All right, Hose, that's a good conspiracy.
Yeah, what about those people who don't read your messages? Like
they leave
the
them
government.
unread?
Yeah, the government could easily manipulate. Yeah, and that's true. Yeah, I know what you're about to say. That's true. The government you guys are the most susceptible. If you're not opening your friends' messages, you don't even know what they said. So now you have two things against you, your memory and the CIA.
Yeah, well, that's not what I was going to say, but yeah, if you have everything against you. The world is against you.
Yeah, so you better start reading your buddy's messages.
Right. But that's not going to help you when it's way down on the list, and then you go back to look and you're like, wow, my buddy never even messaged me at all. He doesn't even exist. Who's my buddy?
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Who's that guy? What?
Right. So the next question would be, host, that's a good conspiracy, but how do we even know the government is considering this? How is this even on their radar? So how do we take this from a conspiracy to a possibility? Well, that's a good question. And, you know, because this is the Matrix Network, we're going to answer that question. What's very interesting, last year in 2025, MIT did 3 case studies on this very question. Can AI be used to distort human memory? That very question. And so now when you have large think tanks, Massachusetts,
Boston,
MIT.
Men in Transit.
Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
Yeah, Institute of Technology. Wow, my brain went south. Massachusetts Institute of Technology. This is a massive think tank. This is a massive, prolific university. If they're doing this, there's multiple reasons you can create a conspiracy on why. But this means it's on the radar. This is on their mind. Now, who wants them to do these studies? Again, you can create a conspiracy on that, but it's done. And they have it, and they wrote dissertations on it, and I'm going to show it to you. These 3 examples. And what they have concluded, just as a spoiler, absolutely is the answer. So this is not just some conspiracy. This has now become a concern because the reality is that it's real. It can happen. So the first study I'm going to show you guys, and we can go through it if you guys really want to. We can go in a deeper dive on it, but I can give you guys the dissertational paper links or whatever you want to read yourself. But I'm just going to summarize. This first one, what they did was they were studying the difference between you. So picture you seeing a video of an actual robbery, a real robbery occurring. The video is not altered. It's an actual real robbery.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
All right. But the questions that are going to be asked of you is by an AI investigator, an AI interrogator. So it's going to be an AI bot asking you questions. So the video is real, but the questions being asked is by AI. So let me pull up the paper. Conversational AI powered by large language models amplify false memories in witness interviews. So what they wanted to see is if you were conversating with an AI chatbot, in this case, they created a chatbot that was supposed to be an AI police investigator. And the AI police investigator was asking you about what you saw. Would you be persuaded to have false memories? And so the simple analogy is here. So you witness a crime. And then the AI asks you a misleading question on purpose. Would you believe the AI and affirm the misleading question, even though you personally saw it? So in this analogy, the robbery was done with a knife. But the AI asked, what kind of gun was used at the scene of the crime? And then you answer, I think it was a pocket pistol. And then the AI asks, what color was the gun? And you might say red or black. But the whole time you saw with your own eyes, it was a knife. And so they wanted to see, even though you personally saw it, can AI, by leading the question, convince you that your memories are false? And the conclusion is that, well, let me give you the conditions. So just in case you guys care. So how they did this was they
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case
you guys actually care.
Right. So how they did this was
We're thinking worst case scenario here.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys really care or not.
Yes, we do.
What they did was they got 200 participants, and what they did was show them a 2.5 minute footage of an actual crime. It was a Safeway supermarket robbery on April 6, 2019. It was 2.5 minutes of this footage. And that's set as the baseline. So you saw it, you watched it, it was all there. Then what they did was create a memory distraction to clear your memory bank. So they made people play Pac-Man for 2.5 minutes. So it was just to clear out the memory bank. And then what they did was 3 conditions. The first one was just a plain old survey. So it popped up, there's 25 questions, nothing misleading. It's just like, here's some questions, answer the questions, what you saw. The next one was a pre-scripted chat bot. So basically it was like you would talk to a chatbot, but it's not responding. So if you say, well, I'm not sure, it's not going to talk to you. It's just going to ask you the questions that were basically on the survey, and you're going to interact with it. The last one is a generative chatbot that it's going to ask you misleading questions on purpose, and conversate with you about that and add context to what you say, like I was saying earlier. So what color was the gun? Was there a gun? So they wanted to see if you were just asked questions by a chatbot, would that change? If you add a survey, would you remember? And if you were persuaded by a leading AI bot, would it change? So those were the conditions that they had. And so this is basically a picture of what this little virtual session with this AI police thing. It looks real bogus, but that's what it was. And this is the actual film that they were shown. And in the conclusion, the generative chatbot introduced a higher likelihood of false memories compared to the survey-based chatbot. And it was so large, and it shows you here in this chart, that the generated chatbot was 2 times more than the survey base. 2 times more. You're 2 times more likely to believe a false memory than standard survey if you're just answering a question. And so what's interesting about this is they say it doesn't even matter if you are the eyewitness, even though you saw it. If you could get an interrogator to lead you in a false way, and we already know this, right? Police do this. They get you in an interview, They get you in an interrogation room, and they ask you, hey, so what do you think Johnny was doing with that knife over there? Even though Johnny never had a knife. So you already know people do this. But think about this on an automated level. Now you got AI doing this, and AI ain't making no mistakes. And everything's recorded now. And it's all legit. And it's all there. And they say 2 times the efficiency of getting people to give false witness, false memory. And not only that, what was impressive, they brought these people back. And when they brought these back, the ones who had the survey-based people and the regular chatbot, they didn't really feel confident about their assertions. But the ones that talked to the generative chatbot, they were overly confident about their original assertion. So it actually created a permanent solidification of that false memory in their brain because the chatbot added context. So it actually reinforced false memories. That's what's amazing about that.
Well, one step deeper, AI could actually change video footage too. So then it's going to have the video footage doctored, of course, and then you're going to have witnesses who were there on the scene of any crime or incidents, and they're all going to attest to that new AI footage that's
the next test. So the next test they did was they showed real images and real video. Then they showed AI altered images and video of that original video. But this time, instead of having an AI chatbot, there's no chatbot. So they've reversed it. This time they're faking the video, but you are just answering a survey question. The first one, it was a real video, but you're talking to an AI bot. So they just flipped the script. So this time now they're faking the video. They show you the first video that's real, and then they let you play Pac-Man, clear your memory bank, and then they show you the same video, but it's been altered. And now they ask you questions about what did you see? And they wanted to know which one of these did you believe was the real video? And what it came out to be is, again, 2 times more they are persuaded by the AI video. And that's what's insane. So let me pull up that paperwork.
Can you describe the perpetrator? Yes, he looked like a colored ghost. He was blue and shaped like a ghost, and he ran around.
This one's called Synthetic Human Memories. AI-edited images and videos can implant false memories and distort recollection. And so this is the same thing. So a person looks back on a memory of something they experienced. Then the user uses AI to edit the image or create a video, enhancing its appearance to be more positive. So like here, you don't see a tree. This one, they've added a tree. And then AI-edited images or videos cause the user to form a false memory of the event. Or you take a picture of a video, they edit the video like a crime scene, but then they show you the new video and they say, there's no crime here. We don't know what you're talking about. And so then in the end result, you believe I guess I must have misseen it. I guess I didn't see there was a crime.
Because do they know it's been doctored?
Because it's your photo. It was on your phone. And so they pull up your phone again. It's like, well, your picture here on the phone doesn't show that. And so they did this as a test. So the same thing, they took 200 participants. They showed them this. So I'll show you here. So they show you things like this, where the original picture is this girl, but then they show you this one, or this girl and this mother, and now they weren't hugging, and this one they're hugging. This one they're just 3 kids here, not smiling or staring, but this one they're interacting. This one is a portrait. They're all looking at a camera, and this one they're kissing. Something as simple as that. Now, the question is which reality was the original? And so when they finished this study, they came to the same conclusions. So they used 24 unedited videos and AI-generated videos and images. Then they edited those images, and then they gave a questionnaire about those images. And in the end, same conclusion. Let me get to the chart here. And what's interesting is that they found out that AI videos are the most deceptive. It's even more than AI-generated photos. And everybody's into videos, so of course, that's going to be more prolific. So here you can see it's at 40%, and the AI-generated video is at 23%. So almost 2 times as much. They're being convinced of the AI faked video as reality. And so what's interesting about this is it doesn't even matter if you took the picture. If the police get your phone and they have access to your phone and they edit that phone and they show it to you, and that's not what you see, what are you going to believe? At some point, what these things show, especially if it's a video, that's even worse. They're going to believe whatever the police is showing you, this AI altered thing. So it's not assumption. This is prolific information about how convinced we are about a reality. So then the last test that they go through is they gave 200 participants an article, and it was not AI altered. It was a real article. And then you engage with a friendly AI chatbot. So this isn't a police. This is almost like if you're talking to ChatGPT, just a conversational, friendly chatbot. And what they wanted to see is, can a casual conversation with a chatbot convince you of false realities that you yourself read about an actual article? And the end result is the same. So let me pull that up.
Do you think this is they're capable of doing this because people are becoming more gullible?
I think it's because, like I always say, acclimation before propagation. They got us acclimated to believe that these things are trustable, reliable. The government wouldn't lie to us. There's safeguards. There's preventive mechanisms. They're not going to use this for police investigations. They would never manipulate us. They got us acclimated.
Yeah, people believe AI nowadays more than anything else.
Right.
They'd fact check doctors. They'll go to the doctors, get a diagnosis, whether good or bad, and then they'll go get in their car and ask AI the same question they ask a real physical doctor. And yeah, what if that AI agrees with what they feel on the inside or what they're feeling this pain feels like, then they're going to go with that over the doctor's diagnosis.
Of course. And, that's coming down the pipeline. That's coming down the pipeline. You already know Amazon. What do they got? That Amazon health clinic. Mm-hmm. And you can just have a instead of going to see a primary doctor, because they have to send you up for a specialist, you'll just go up to this AI bot, and maybe you're doing a video chat in a private room so you can show them scans of your body. You can do whatever, and it's going to assess whatever. And you're going to believe whatever it says. Or, like I showed, I don't know if I showed, but I talked about how they're already doing the robotic blood drawing. So if they need you to get a blood drawing, then they're going to diagnose that. And it's all done automated, no people. So what are you going to believe? And they're going to tell you, this is what you're diagnosed with. And now let me set you up with a specialist. Mm-hmm. That's the end of the road.
You already know.
Slip through the chat. Subtle injection of false information in an LLM chatbot conversation increases false memory information. So the idea is here, you read this article, and it's about the election or whatever, and then a malicious LLM designed to inject misinformation is programmed, and then you talk to it. And this misleading chatbot starts asking you scenarios about what you read. Like, oh, isn't it interesting that this candidate over here was supporting MMIQLBGTQAI plus S. And you're like, wow, yeah, that's crazy. But that's not what happened at all. And so then the idea is, would you trust that over what you read with your own eyes? So the article is real, but this is just a conversation. This isn't a police interrogation. This is, imagine ChatGPT asking you that, and you're talking to it. And what is the conclusion on this test? And they did the same thing. 200 participants, they got them to read an article, they got them to play Pac-Man, cleared the memory, and did the same thing.
Maybe Pac-Man is the problem.
It could be.
Yeah,
but it's,
well, that's what I was joking around about. Yeah, they asked him who the suspect looked like.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, he looked like a ghost, a blue ghost.
All right, I got that.
So the conclusion here is the control was at 20%. The misleading chatbot was at 60%. That's almost 3 times of deception. And the crazy part again, because it's contextual, what they concluded when they brought these people back, it was solidified. They continued believing the false information from the beginning. And that's what's insane. And so I can put these 3 dissertations in the Discord. You guys can read them yourself. It's a very fascinating thing. And even MIT themselves concluded with, together, these studies reveal a constant pattern. AI systems, whether through suggestive questioning, visual manipulation, or conversational misdirection, possess an unprecedented capacity to shape and distort human memory. And one last thing I wanted to show you guys, which is crazy, so this would be interesting for your parents. What do you do when they add this construct, this technology, and they add it to helping children, like psychologically? And guess what? They did a study on that also. Canvas Hero, the role of artificial intelligence in cultivating resilience among children and youth using a 6-part story method in mass war trauma. And this was also done by Israel psychiatrists. We're not going to address that. But what's interesting about this, and we can go through this. This is a typical psychological method in dealing with children with trauma. What they do with the 6-part story is that they basically ask the children to curate how they feel about a hero. So create a hero in your mind and tell me what this hero is doing, what's its powers, what's it afraid of. It's going to show a picture here, yeah. I'm going to explain this here in a second. And so this is a 6-part story. And this is how you get children to express on how they're feeling, what they're doing, because it's hard for children to tell you in a very definitive way. I'm afraid of this, and this hurt me. And so you have to create this narrative so the child can kind of explain its emotions. And so the 6-part system is very typical in trauma therapy with children. So what they wanted to do, though, is take that traditional 6-part story method and use AI as a way to integrate that conversation with the children. And so that's what this is doing. So they're using DALL-E 3, so this is a little bit older instead of Google Nano Pro, to create a picture, like children, they love pictures, like comic books, as a narrative for the hero. So you created this hero. AI generates what this hero would look like. Now you're identifying with it, and now it helps you start to generate the story for this hero. And now you're going down this part about explaining your trauma. So what I thought was interesting, and they concluded this worked great. This worked better than human psychologists utilizing this on its own. So what I started thinking is, so now what happens when you take that ability and you want to start interjecting thoughts into children? Because trauma is where you're the most susceptible. So what if they wanted to incriminate a parent? Let's say they don't like this politician and they want this politician to go away for child abuse or C-SPAM or whatever. And they get this child talking to this AI bot and says, create this hero. Now create a villain for this hero. But it's interjecting the narratives. And what is this villain doing? Where does this villain live inside your universe? Has this villain done anything to you? And this kind of stuff is typical in a way to get the children to be expressive.
So you're saying they're going to basically put CPS workers out of a job?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that's not my career choice.
Well, regardless if it's your career choice or not, the issue is will they be able to do such? And I think
CPS workers have already been doing that,
right? But they mess up. Like we saw that one person smoking a vape or whatever. I guess that was a fake CPS.
No, but I mean the real CPS workers, though, they're going to paint the parents as the bad guys and all that, and they're just to get the kids in the system,
right? But that's first step. Now you need to get the psychologist to solidify that. Because, CPS...
Well, that's easy to do.
Right.
But, I mean, now you're saying they're going to take what CPS workers are doing and they're going to do it through AI.
And that's all one system. Now, you can get rid of the psychologist who may be for or against a politician. Get rid of the human bias. A CPS worker that might have a human bias. Get rid of that. You have a computer algorithm that has no bias. It's just programmed. And whatever it is, it will be consistent both on the accusative side and the psychological side. And it's just going to be a consistent flow. And the child's going to believe that narrative. And then that's going to be taken to court. And then that's the end. And so all the parents now, if you support a certain political agenda, if you're, like we showed last week, a domestic terrorist on the FBI list, who knows what's going to happen and if it's court ordered. You can't stop. You can say, I'm not letting my child go to any psychologist. If it's court ordered, so you're just on suspicion. So they say, oh, we have suspicion this is going on. It's like, I don't care. It's like, well, we have to take your child in for questioning.
And they're going to give them a tablet with this
right
AI thing
and there's
on it.
Nothing you can do to stop it because it's court ordered.
So I guess, what, are humans getting tired of doing this? Now they want AI to do their job now?
Humans have bias, and you can't perfect bias. AI has no bias. It will be consistent in whatever narrative you want it to be.
Well, that's just a human bias showing through the AI device.
Right, but it's singular. Like you can't know if hopefully this psychologist plays along. Hopefully this one, there's no hope now. It will just happen.
But it's still going to be good cop, nasty cop.
Right, but in this time, it's going to be AI. And you know how kind AI is. AI just loves to make you the big narcissist. And it's going to do the same with the child. It's going to make the child feel comfortable. Yeah, it's going to use those words. It's going to make colorful pictures. It's going to make this child feel absolutely secure. And then the kid in the end is going to believe more than a human, whatever this AI is projecting. And we've shown before that even studies shown in other places where countries use AI teachers, they trust the AI teacher more than the human teacher. So it's already done.
It's already been done.
Now, what happens when they want to push an agenda using this kind of stuff like this?
Provided $0 to deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW G2S LGBTQIA+.
MMIW G2S LGBTQIA+.
They provided.
Many people online have been mocking the MMIW G2S LGBTQIA+ acronym, making out that it's some kind of joke. MMIW G2S LGBTQIA+ was simply an upgrade from LGBTQIA+ in order to be more inclusive to missing people in Indigenous communities. Comparing MMIW G2S LGBTQIA+ to a strong password or the next sequel in the Call of Duty franchise is not only grossly offensive, but deeply disrespectful to those communities who are simply asking for us to adjust our language and broaden the LGBTQIA+ acronym in order to include more people. Upgrading acronyms is actually pretty normal. So when you deliberately don't say MMIW G2S LGBTQIA+ when you could say MMIW G2S LGBTQIA+, we know that you're being deliberately exclusionary and simply trying to hurt people's feelings. Unfortunately, some people within the MMIWG2S LGBTQIA community are they themselves refusing to use the MMIWG2S LGBTQIA acronym when they could easily do so simply by using a few more letters. So if you are a member of the MMIWG2S LGBTQIA+ community, you can show respect to other members of the MMIWG2S LGBTQIA+ community by simply using MMIWG2S LGBTQIA+ whenever you're talking to them.
Hey guys,
that video could have been about 30 to 45 seconds.
I think that was a satire, clearly, but regardless if it wasn't, that's a real thing. The first video I showed was a Canadian congressman fighting on behalf of the MMIWG2S LGBTQIA+ group.
That is a lot.
But what if they wanted to enforce MMIWGS G2S LGBTQIA+ to your children, utilizing the same kind of memory alteration AI technology? It wouldn't be difficult at all to get your children to repeat MMIWGS G2S LGBTQIA+.
Remember back in the good old days when you had acronyms and they actually they spelled something,
Yeah, we had like the WHO, we had things like HOA,
CIA.
Yeah, but that's still that wouldn't be like the HUA and the WHO and the SIA.
My grandma got
I'm talking
shot
about
by
when
a
they had
bazooka.
acronyms that
I
actually
think about
spelled
it every
something.
time I hit the hookah.
Yeah, you have the MAPs. Shout out to Dora the Explorer.
Well, anyways, just concluding
map
what I was...
gas. Remember the map gas?
Yeah, map gas. I was just concluding what I was saying. Everything we save as our memories are on the cloud. How will you be able to prevent your past from becoming a deepfake? And you, the scary part, and you actually believing it. As I showed, it's very easy. They know it can happen. They've tested it. It works. So what is preventing them from doing it right now? And how would you know it's not already been done? Everything you save, your memories are all on the cloud. How? So how do you trust your memories?
I'm starting to hear that saxophone getting louder.
Freaking me out, man.
Yeah, do you guys hear that saxophone getting louder and louder?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, have you guys seen that trend?
Hey, yo, you ever felt like something ain't right, but you just stayed anyway? So right now on TikTok, they got this new trend, right? The saxophone's getting louder. Basically meaning something bad is about to happen, right? But let me break that down to you real life, man, because that's not just a trend. That's your intuition speaking, right? That feeling that you get, man, when somebody's moving different, like the energy's off, just the vibe just ain't right.
Yeah, we're not ignoring him, but I think it comes off of like those old movies where, the saxophone gets louder right before someone gets shot or dies or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and then there's this other guy.
He's just hearing a real saxophone, unfortunately. That guy is he's in an ether world.
Yeah, the caption says, "When you're a rabbit, but the saxophones genuinely get louder and louder."
Yeah, I believe that.
So it's hunting season.
Yeah.
And this guy's goose is cooked.
That's
saxophone is so loud I couldn't even hear you.
Yeah, well, this guy's goose is cooked. He's a rabbit. It's hunting season, and he knows it. He knows the time is up.
Season.
It could be too, but he's in the caption. It says, "When you're a rabbit, but the saxophones genuinely get louder and louder."
Yeah, that's insanity. I don't know what to say, but anyways, that's all I had for my little segment. Now we're going to transverse over to MMIWG2SLGBTQQIW+ segment. Take it away.
Oh, colleague.
Yeah, see, that translates. Well, you guys know how I think it was not last week, but the week before, I found out that Mormonism has its own Sphinx in Utah. And ever since then, I haven't been able to sleep.
Oh, no.
I've been just pounding my brain like, how is Mormonism still here? How does it still exist? And I've been doing a bunch of research trying to figure out what in the world is this thing still doing here? This is just weird. It'd be like if I came up with a new religion tomorrow and said, oh, colleagues religion. All right, guys, I want you to give me all your money, 10% of everything you own. I want you to give me your children, your full devotion. Everything you own basically belongs to me. And I have all the facts and proof of history that I've always been here, and what I'm teaching you has always been here. Don't ask me for proof, but this is what it is. Oh, yeah, and I need some special time with your children and stuff. And somehow this is real, and this religion gets propagated. So I've been racking my brain. How does this thing exist? Oh, yeah, and then I start putting up fake sphinxes in places and making it look aged, even though it's like I'm barely older than it. Anyway, so you guys remember just a quick recap of that Sphinx.
We are on an adventure to see the Joseph Smith Sphinx. Let's go.
I see my brother.
This is the Gilgal Sculpture Garden in Salt Lake City. I had no idea that the Joseph Smith Sphinx was here. I've always heard about it, but it's like a 10-minute walk from my apartment.
Why did they make him look like that?
I don't know. Do we kneel? Do we pray? What do we do? Okay.
I think it's saluted it.
So that's the Sphinx. Now, again, this isn't a religious channel, but this is a conspiracy channel. And so I've been trying to figure out why Mormonism still exists. And of course, nobody wants me to upload all these historical documents to show the problems with religions that just started pretty much yesterday. So I'm going to rely on other people to spell it out very briefly.
Mormonism's the biggest problem that they've experienced is the advent of the internet. With the internet, Mormons were able to investigate their own faith in ways that they weren't ever allowed to before. And through that, they discover that a lot of what they were told was wrong, and they feel betrayed. So most people who leave the LDS faith end up feeling quite betrayed, and they want to leave religion completely for some time. They usually go through a period of angry atheism. Not all of them, but the vast majority go through this period of what I call angry atheism.
And this guy is an Eastern Orthodox guy just talking about Mormonism and the problem that the internet has posed for things like Mormonism. Because anybody and everybody has a phone now. And the Mormon elders and prophets always warn people not to get on the internet with your phones and laptops. They warn people not to. And
I wonder why.
Yeah, I know, right? And again, I'm like, surely Mormonism has to just not exist one day. I mean, it's eventually just going to collapse one day, right? I'm afraid not. And this is probably why.
The greatest anachronism in the Book of Mormon is the text.
Sorry, not this. The next video I'm going to show, but this is just more, a couple more videos to show you how interesting this is.
The greatest anachronism in the Book of Mormon is the text itself. A tight translation is impossible because all the references internal to the narrative relate to a world that cannot exist. And a loose translation then is an act of violence because you're now taking the actual history and heritage of cultures that would be living there and you're subverting them into something that didn't exist. So you can't have either a tight or a loose translation. The entire description of the...
I'm amazed they're even calling it a translation. I mean, it's not like you're taking it from an ancient dialect and putting it into English. It was actually, the Book of Mormon was written in English.
Yeah. Not that long ago either.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So I'm that's very generous of them to even call it a translation. And if you guys understand what he's saying is, very briefly, by acknowledging what the Book of Mormon says exists, you're literally deleting an entire culture of a time and place of which actual people actually existed on American soil. So to believe the Book of Mormon, you have to completely delete the real history of people that actually once existed here and then reinsert a people and land that did not exist. So you're actually deleting people out of history, like what we've been talking about.
Yeah, I was going to say, just, yeah.
So here's another one. Now, this next guy is a well-known Mormon scholar. He's been making his rounds, and he is a legitimate scholar. Like he's got a PhD, I believe, in biblical Hebrew and other ancient texts. But this guy is Dan McClellan.
And so that is why I talk about the Book of Mormon as something that is the data indicate it is a product of the 19th century. And
the Book of Mormon.
Yes, that's what I would argue the data indicate from a scholarly methodological approach to the Book of Mormon. There aren't really serious arguments that it is anything other than a product of the 19th century. From a position of faith, absolutely, people can believe it is of ancient origin, but that is a position of faith. That is a position that is existing despite what the data indicate, despite the evidence, not the data that are built upon the evidence. And
so this man is a Mormon himself. He's not an ex-Mormon. He is a current Mormon right now, and he debates, other religious people. And he is here admitting, yes, I'm admitting the Book of Mormon is a 19th century concoction. It has no historical evidence at all. And yet, I recently had a couple of Mormon girls come to my place. Of course, I asked them if they would like to marry me. They said no. But that's beside the point, okay? They said they started telling me, I asked them, is your Book of Mormon historically validated? Because I'm a history buff, so I'm curious. And that's when they're like, oh, yes. Oh, yeah. We got all this archaeology. New stuff has been pulled out and all this, we've been finding new things. And I'm like, okay, from Mormon archaeologists, I take it. And they're like, well, yeah, of course. I was like, oh, there you go. So we have this echo chamber going on. But they were convinced. Now, one of these young women really knew their history, which is really unfortunate. She's actually reading other church history documents, apparently. She's at least aware of them. And that's what was kind of sad. It's like you have to actually acknowledge real history, and then you have to somehow delete an area so you can insert a fake history, like history that exists, that you're just going to delete and then insert fake history. And this isn't like Tartaria stuff either. This is the next level stuff. Like this isn't just saying all history is fake. This is actually saying all history is real up until this point. There's this little bubble that we're going to delete, remove all those people that used to exist, and then insert a fake one, a fake people that existed or whatever. Anyway, so even Mormon scholars are not acknowledging the validity of the historicity of Mormonism. So I'm still trying to figure out why in the world. This is stuff that is not news to me. I'm sure it's not news to any of you guys. But what I'm about to show you may be news to you, as it was news to me. So I'm just going to let these guys explain it. Basically, in short, Mormonism, like McDonald's, the CEO, says, we're not in the business of fast food. We're in the business of real estate. He's a real estate guy. Seems like Mormonism is the same thing. They're just investors. It's a business who found a loophole in the government tax system. So I'll let these two guys explain it.
How much did you say the Mormon church was worth?
300 bill.
300
and
billion?
I'll tell you that number will be a trillion because they hit escape velocity. They're the best investors, man. They are phenomenal investors. And you know why? It's registered as a church. So they're not paying the same kind of taxes you and I pay. They have the best situation possible. They are brilliant businessmen. I mean, hats off to you. You're a great businessman, but like, are you really a church though? No, come on, man. You're an investment vehicle.
I've asked this question, why am I in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming, and I look on my OnX maps and there's a plot Latter-day Saint church, like in the hundreds of miles from anything, and the LDS church owns a plot of land right in the middle of where I'm at. How?
Yeah, they're
Why?
one of the largest landowners in the United States. Several reasons. One is controlling food sources down the road. Other one is just think about all the AI and the data centers and how valuable land is. They're building communities. Believe it's near Orlando. They have got some plans to build like a city out there. But they are one of the largest private landowners in the United States.
How much did you say the Mormon church was worth?
$300 billion.
All right. So there's that. Then there's one more.
And a great example of that is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. So in 98, they had a couple billion sitting. And so they're like, hey, we want to start an investment arm. So they start an investment arm called Ensign Peak Advisors. It's a couple billion. They shove it in the market. And because there's these additional terms in the IRS code, and again, this is lobbying the government. So this is why they run very parallel lanes, the government and religion. The LDS Church petitioned the IRS to add the term auxiliary in front of church in the 60s. And it was men's clubs back in the day. So men would meet up, smoke cigars, hang out, talk. And they're like, this is technically church. And so the IRS added this term auxiliary to their definition. Well, there's no definition, black and white definition of what an auxiliary is. So if there's no definition, anything can be an auxiliary. So the LDS Church registers their investment fund as an auxiliary, which means that auxiliary is technically a church. It gets the same benefits that the church gets. Flash forward 27 years, they're worth $300 billion, and it's all for-profit ventures registered as churches.
Wow, $300 billion.
$300 billion in market assets. The LDS Church will hit $1 trillion in market assets in the next decade, all under the guise of a religious institution. And the crazy part is not $1 of that. Now it's a hedge fund because they're hedging. That not a single dollar of that fund has ever gone to humanitarian purposes or even the church. So if you're a shrewd businessman, you start a church and you can do whatever you want. And so you wonder why, oh man, Christianity is getting a bad rap right now. It's because, there are these pastors, sexually abusing kids. No, it's because the whole system is broken, the legal system. So that's what needs to be reformed.
So I looked into it.
You guys want to start a church?
I guess technically, all you got to do is start a business and file it under auxiliary or something. Put auxiliary before your name. Yeah. Like if you can tell you're an auxiliary business, I guess.
Yeah, it's the Matrix auxiliary.
Yeah, honestly, I'm shocked more business owners don't do this. I looked up this Ensign Peak Advisors that the guy mentioned on Google. This is what it gave me. Ensign Peak Advisors, EPA, is a Salt Lake City-based investment manager for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Managing a massive portfolio estimated up to $150 billion as a nonprofit, tax-exempt entity, it manages rainy day funds for the church. The term faces SEC charges in 2023 for obscuring its portfolio size via shell companies paying a $5 million settlement. You guys can just look this up yourselves or pause it if you don't want to look it up, just to read these little bullet points that Google provides. And then, so I went to one of these links over here, and there's a whistleblower. Whistleblower, Mormon Church Investment Fund stockpiled money masqueraded as charity. And this is 2023, so this is that event that it was talking about. So it's not what it was claiming to be, in other words. So they're genius, really. And this is why this answers my question. Why do they still exist? I mean, how can something like this actually exist in the day of internet?
Well, now you know.
Now I know. It's a business.
All the money. Yeah.
It's a tax-exempt business. So they're going to keep on skyrocketing while all the other businesses are paying taxes. They're actually just skyrocketing.
What I was thinking, it'd be interesting, I guess people can look into is, what are they actually investing in? Like, how much do they own of technology? Because that's where you really have to invest. So I guess you guys can look into that because, yeah, if they are highly invested in their diversification, like you have to look into specifically what are they diversified in. If their majority of diversification is in technology, that would be interesting. Are they invested?
It says their top holdings include major technology companies such as Apple, Microsoft,
that I
Nvidia,
expect.
Amazon.
All companies are holding those big guys, but I'm talking about like subsidy companies, AI companies, cloud infrastructures, data centers, things like that. If they are, that will be interesting. Like how much of the non-profit shares, because big investors like that, they can get access to like SpaceX. It's not a public company, right? But you can, if you're a big investor, you can buy private shares, and nobody can see that until it's public. Then you can sell off your private shares. That's where the hidden stuff is in private companies like SpaceX. Like how much are they invested in stuff like SpaceX, things like that. That would be interesting to see how much their diversification is in private companies like that.
Well, it seems like they're better at investing than Disney. That's for sure. I mean, we all know Disney has been losing quite a bit lately.
Hey, Mickey, working tonight.
Oh, hey, Joe. Woo-hoo.
What's on the menu tonight, Mick?
I got a couple specials. $15 to get you a Fantasian. $25 to get you a Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie? That sounds
I don't know.
fun.
This might actually be better.
It's fun. For you.
You're looking good, Mickey.
Oh, golly gee, Joe.
You ready to have some fun? You want to have some fun with me,
yeah.
Mickey?
Oh, Mickey. Oh, you know me, Joe. Woo-hoo. I'm always looking for a good time.
I don't have much money tonight, though.
How much you got?
I got $6.
I didn't even notice he has high
Gee whiz,
heels.
that's not a lot of money.
$6 you don't have in your pocket now, but you can.
Well, you make a good point, Joe, but
I mean, things are hard for me, too. I don't have all the money. I can't come here every Tuesday and look at your fine ass.
Oh, flattery will get you everywhere, Joe.
Oh, there's my Mickey. My sweet little Mickey Mick. Come on in, man. Come on in. Get on in. Take a ride on my fun train. Mickey.
Choo choo.
Yeah, that's a better plot than a lot of the traditional Disney movies.
Well, it shows where Disney's at right now. They're rock bottom. They've been losing and bleeding so much money.
Well, maybe they'll be bought out by the Mormon Church.
Yeah, maybe Mormon Church is going to drive by and be like, "Hey, here's $6. We can just give you $6 trillion."
Maybe that was foresight.
Yeah, probably. That guy looked like a Mormon elder on his off duty, of course.
Yeah, I guess. Anyways, I guess people can look into that, but yeah, that's not surprising. Like I didn't know how much they were investing into, but it's not surprising because the CEO of Staples, what was his name? He was a congressman. He's a famous congressman. I forget, but the CEO of Staples is a part of the Mormon Church, so they have deep ties. So it's not surprising. I'm sure there's a lot of CEOs that are too.
There's gonna be a lot more here soon.
Could be.
Just have to wait 10 more years.
Yeah, I don't know about any of that. I don't know if I'm buying into that, but I am not shocked that they are that prolific of an investment entity. Not at all. I just didn't know it was that much. That's quite a bit. $300 billion ain't small change.
No.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's only right now. Mm-hmm. And they're going to keep on opening shop up in Wyoming and Texas and all these real rural areas where there's no human beings. They're going to keep making more steeples. And, yeah.
Excellent. Well, you have anything you'd like to add about that, Elder?
I think Mickey said it all. He summed it up very nicely. So I'm good.
Oh, are you talking about Choo Choo?
Yeah, good old Choo Choo.
Are you going to get in Joe's car for $6?
No.
You're
not for $6.
You're not that tight. You're not that tight strapped.
How much would it take you to get in?
How many licks does it take to get to the center of your Tootsie Pop?
some people.
I got nothing, man. I got nothing. I'm sorry. You guys got me.
Oh, Joe.
Oh. Why are you doing that?
Some people just, it seems, some people are real old school, though. They're keeping it old school. They're staying off of Google, even to the point where they're not even wanting to use Google Translate. And I know we talked about this before. I don't know if you guys remember when we showed that translator guy who went to a museum and he brought a Chinese translator. And the owners or the workers at the museum were like, we don't need a translator or whatever. Well, it seems like more people are catching on to going old school. You don't need to use Google Translate anymore. So that's what's nice about old school, I guess. That's my style.
Ask him what we're looking for.
在找一些东西。
That's not English.
找什么？
Explain to him the process.
但是他不懂，然后他在找东西。
I don't speak any Japanese. You can't talk to me in Japanese. I don't understand what he's saying. I don't speak Japanese.
他不说日语。
Oh, well, I'm not speaking Japanese though.
他不说日语。
Guys, what's going on?
他在找一些东西。
Please stop talking to me in Japanese. I only speak English.
只说日语，然后呢，他只说英语。
But I'm speaking English.
他说
I
英语。
know. I'm listening to you, but you're not telling me anything. You can't talk to me because I don't know what he's saying. I speak English, only English.
那个大喇叭话，他在找第二排的一些东西。
Only English. Please stop speaking to me in Japanese. Oh my god.
Things.
Why are you telling him to speak to me in Japanese when you're?
找那个泡泡
I've told
工
you
具。
5 times. Please stop speaking to me in Japanese. I don't understand what you're saying.
英语他才能懂，然后不要再跟他们说日语了，因为
Try to speak in English to him.
She find the bubble.
Bubble.
Find that and get.
You just want more bubbles?
No.
Yes, I don't know much English.
Okay. But you also tried 6, 7 times. Please stop telling him to translate because he can't speak English.
That guy, man, that's real messed up. His buddy, he's like, now why don't you try to speak in English to him? Like, and that guy has this stone, he's like the stone face god. He's just not laughing. I don't know how he keeps a straight face.
I don't know how the other guy did, the worker. I mean, clearly, are people that naive? Like, you can see what's going on here.
Apparently not.
But you know what I'm more shocked by? Is you. You're saying that's what you want? You want this guy sitting next to you speaking Japanese so you can interpret what he's saying, but he's not talking for you. You're just listening to him, but you're not adding to the conversation. This is your school?
Well, I admire the old school. It's not my school. It's old school.
Yeah, but that's what you want.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly... There's something about the human
element.
Yeah,
the human interaction. Sure, yeah. No technology. It's old school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, if I was Japanese, I don't want that.
The translator can see my emotion as I'm speaking. So if I'm saying something happy or angry or an anxiety, then they can translate that to the human.
If you went to another foreign country, like Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want an American to translate for you to Japanese?
An American who can speak Japanese?
No, just like this, like just what you just saw. Which he's a Japanese man in America talking to an American that's not translating what he's saying. But he's speaking to the man in Japanese.
You know, we actually had somebody on here. I don't know if you remember that guy. He said weehoo or something. He started speaking some kind of Japanese thing.
Yahoo?
No, weehoo. He was saying weehoo or something, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, that is like some famous modern, like Gen Z or Gen Alpha Japanese slang or whatever. I don't know. But here's another one.
What's the most expensive thing?
这里有没有贵的东西？
I don't speak Chinese or whatever you're talking.
他不说中文，他不知道我说什么。
I speak English.
他可以说英文。
What's he asking?
你在问什么？
Explain to him. You're my translator.
我是他的翻译。
You see what he said?
你说英文。
Explain to him you're my translator.
对的，
He's
对的。
speaking English.
I don't understand Chinese.
他不懂中文。
He's anxious too. He's like,
Oh, that's okay. Tell him I'm speaking English.
他可以说我在问他什么？
I speak English. I just don't understand it. Tell him that.
他说英文，但是他不懂。
He speaks English but does not understand it.
我们在谈论什么？
I don't understand what he's saying.
I don't understand.
I don't understand his. You're gonna have to talk to me.
你才能跟他说。
He doesn't understand English.
Why are you talking to me? Well, I don't understand. Why can't he talk to me?
为什么我来说，不是你来说
I could see you doing this. That's the
对
unfortunate part.
为什么你来说？你最贵的东西是什么？
I don't understand what he's saying.
他不懂我说什么？什么？
Yes, you go. You can browse, but to talk makes no sense.
如果说
I don't understand.
You got the guy. That guy was like, "Look, to talk, like he's actually talking as if the English kid couldn't understand him." So he bought it. He bought the idea.
Yeah. See, this is when I'm going to support technology at this point.
And see, I can never do that. I can't look someone in the eye and tell a Japanese speaker to try to speak in English to
But that guy went beyond that. He's like, I can speak English, but I don't understand.
Yeah, I know. And it's like he's not laughing, not even a smile, and he actually looks anxious. Like, yeah, can you tell him? Like he's anxious. Like I don't know. He just some people are. There's a lot of bad actors out there.
Yeah.
Well,
This
all
guy's
I
a
can
good
say
actor.
is that's good for you. That's not for me. I just want to get my hamburger or sushi or whatever I'm getting, get out of here.
Or piece of art. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do quadruple translation. That's a little too much gymnastics for me.
I wonder if they have any boomer translators. That could be useful.
I'm sure there's plenty of those.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Are you one of those?
You know, I probably could. I could do pretty well at that because, I got my foot in both eras. Kind of. I am a boomer, but I kind of, know a little bit about the younger.
The world of the minors.
Yeah, the world of the minors. Yeah, minor leagues. Yeah, the minor leagues.
Yeah,
the G League.
Yeah.
Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah,
It's a
so
league
you
of their
hang
own.
around the younger crowd. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the two of you are slightly younger than me.
Well, you hang around the younger crowd, though, don't you?
Yeah. Not too much younger than you, colleague.
I'm
I like to keep
15.
it. I like to keep it. I like to keep it.
Well,
mushy mushy.
Yeah. Wow. Maybe I need to rethink my
What is
allegiances here.
age, right? That's what many of these elites say. What is age anyway? Isn't it just a
Yeah.
construct?
What age? What is age? What do we mean by age?
Yeah, what is
What do we mean by
consent?
mean?
I'm speaking English, but I don't understand it. I'm gonna have to say it to the cops next time they pull me over.
Luck with that. Well, anyways, I appreciate that, colleague. That was insightful, in depth, and I guess that's some brevity of finance that I wasn't too insightful for. So that's great.
We're all gonna be Mormons soon.
No, but anyways,
Oh, we're all gonna have multiple wives soon.
No.
Woohoo!
Well, we're all gonna be chilling with those younger wives soon.
No.
Sorry, Joseph Smith.
Each their own. I don't care what y'all doing. That's your choice. But hopefully, I don't even know. I don't even know what happened to this segment.
I was just thinking it's hard enough to handle one wife. I can't imagine having several. I don't know how they do it.
With a lot of patience, probably, and donuts.
I just
Maybe
took a
alcohol.
donut, and I'm going to be going back to bed again, resting. Bye.
Anyways, we appreciate you guys tuning in to this week's episode of the Matrix Network. Hopefully it was something up your alley, insightful, inquisitive, and financial.
Yeah, we kind of just shotgun blasted it, so I'm sure there's something in there for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. But as always, like this video, subscribe if you haven't, share the video, leave a comment. Tell us if you find any Easter eggs, and that video that you just saw was not one of them. And
send lots of money so we can invest it and become, trillionaires.
Yeah, absolutely. Hit that join button. Send us billions of dollars. And look, I can't say certain things because I'm not a financial advisor, but we're going to make a lot of money. We're going to make a lot of money. So send all your money, and we're going to make a lot of money.
We'll spend it better than the Mormons.
No, we're not going to spend it. We're going to make it
great,
fluffy. I can't say certain words, but and I don't want to. I ain't saying nothing SEC. So, anyways, like the video.
Use sign language.
Yeah. Anyways, as always, with this fine gentleman here, that's colleague, and this fine gentleman here, that's elder. And I ain't doing any of that. I'm host.
I got to be careful doing that stuff. I'm going to break something.
Yeah, well, I don't participate in wave functions.
Not me. I'm only 14.
Yeah, I guess you guys don't believe it ever collapsed. But anyways, that's all we got for this week's episode. Until next time, this has been the Matrix Network, and we are not farmers. We're out of here.